Imagine a future where rockets don't just launch into space, they return, ready to fly again within days. That future is unfolding right now. It all starts with 2 towers, one groundbreaking mission, and the most ambitious catch SpaceX has ever attempted. Ready to witness history in the making? The 2 towers are now a reality, and we're excitedly looking forward to the return of the king. That's right, the second launch tower at Starbase has been fully stacked in record time, grabbing the world's attention once again. This achievement is a major step forward for SpaceX, building confidence as they gear up for the next flight. In this upcoming mission, the Starship booster will be caught by the Mechazilla arm for the first time. Although there are still many hurdles to overcome, SpaceX has carefully planned for every challenge. Ready to jump into this thrilling journey? Let's explore it in today's episode.
The second launch tower has been the most anticipated structure at Starbase this year. On August 21st, around 7 a.m., ETT, Rex crane connected to Module 9, the final piece of the tower. Just over an hour later, the module was lifted and welded into place, completing the main structure of the tower. Now it stands tall right next to the first tower, creating a stunning view. To celebrate this achievement, SpaceX tweeted, "Second launch tower stacked as the newest addition to Starbase," and Elon Musk chimed in with his own comment, "The 2 towers." This refers back to Musk's earlier suggestion that the next stage of the Starship program be called the 2 towers. Although the FAA's schedule had aimed for a completion date of August 15th, meaning the project was about a week behind, SpaceX still managed to stack the tower in just a month, a huge improvement from the 9 months it took to build the first tower. This small delay is unlikely to affect the overall timeline. Phase 3 of the plan will kick off from this milestone and continue until January 28th of next year. This phase will focus on building additional systems, including the Mechazilla arm, the orbital launch mount OM with a water-cooled steel system or flame trench below it, the tank farm system, the fuel rail, and more. With these systems in place, SpaceX aims to significantly increase their launch frequency, initially aiming for 25 flights per year. Right now, they're also making progress on the Star Factory, the Massey test system, and preparing the Starship V2 for launch to help achieve that goal. With the addition of the new launch tower, SpaceX is one step closer to catching the Starship stages, a key move towards achieving full reusability of their massive rocket, something no other organization has done. This could happen as soon as Flight 6 or Flight 7. While there are still many steps ahead, completing the second tower stack is a major milestone in SpaceX's journey. Are you ready to be part of this exciting new phase? If so, drop a number 1 in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on SpaceX's progress. A major milestone is just around the corner with Flight 5, where SpaceX plans to catch the Super Heavy booster with the Mechazilla arm for the very first time. Right now, SpaceX is wrapping up the final preparations for this flight, with a wet dress rehearsal test still on the agenda. They're also waiting for the necessary approvals from the FAA. Based on the current progress, I expect the launch to happen around mid-September. If you have your own guesses on the launch date, drop them in the comments below. So, what can we expect from this flight? Most of the steps will be similar to previous missions. SpaceX will launch Starship from Starbase, and about 2 minutes and 45 seconds after liftoff, the Super Heavy booster will separate and start its descent. Meanwhile, Starship will continue its journey into orbit to carry out its mission. Around 45 minutes after launch, Starship will begin re-entry and eventually land in the ocean, likely in the Indian Ocean, just over an hour after liftoff. While these are the basic steps, this upcoming flight will feature 2 major new elements. First, SpaceX may finally perform the task of igniting the engine in space. This test was skipped during the last 2 flights, so it's about time it happens. Testing the engine in space is crucial for SpaceX as they fine-tune their vehicles and get ready for longer missions in the future. But the biggest change will be attempting to catch the Super Heavy booster with the Mechazilla arm. Elon Musk recently shared a video showcasing this process, emphasizing SpaceX's dedication to this groundbreaking effort. Unlike previous flights, where the Super Heavy was gently landed in the Gulf of Mexico, this time it will come back to the launch site. This will involve much more complex procedures. The grid fins will need to be much more active in guiding the booster as it descends. Although the system has worked well in the past, this attempt will be far more challenging. Along with the grid fins, the engines, especially the gimbal engines, will be crucial in steering the Super Heavy and controlling its speed during the descent. The entire descent is expected to take about 10 minutes, starting from an altitude of over 60 kilometers. This estimate is based on the Falcon 9's descent, with some adjustments for the more complex landing of the Starship booster. As the booster gets closer to the launch tower, the process becomes even more intricate. The grid fins and engines will need to work together perfectly to guide the Super Heavy into position. The speed must be carefully controlled, not too fast or too slow. The most crucial part is making sure the booster lines up exactly with the chopstick arms. Once it's aligned, the chopstick arms will open, and the booster will need to move precisely into place. The arms will then slowly close around the booster, securing it. After catching the booster, the chopstick arms will adjust its position and rotate it back onto the orbital launch mount next to the tower. Of course, we're talking about a process that, in an ideal world, goes off without a hitch, but there's no guarantee that everything will go as planned. This attempt comes with significant risks. First off, the navigation itself could be tricky since this will be the first time both the engine and grid fins handle such a complex task. We've seen previous flights where the super heavy engines had issues at critical moments, which could cause the booster to veer off its intended path. Once the flight phase ends, the approach and landing become even more challenging. If the engine or grid fins encounter problems earlier in the process, SpaceX might decide to land the booster in the ocean. But as the booster gets closer to Starbase, alternative options become limited. The booster might not slow down in time or might struggle to align perfectly with the chopstick arms. In the event of a failure, the Super Heavy could collide with the tower, the chopstick arms, or other nearby structures, potentially causing a catastrophic explosion. The situation could be even worse due to the presence of numerous fuel tanks nearby, which could intensify the damage. The flight hardware isn't the only concern. The chopstick arms themselves could malfunction. Timing is crucial. If the chopstick arms open or close even slightly too early or too late, the booster might miss the catch or fall off after being caught. Even if everything else works perfectly, this could still lead to the disastrous outcomes mentioned earlier. In addition to these technical challenges, external factors like wind or fog could also interfere with different stages of the process, making the attempt even more difficult. Despite these challenges, SpaceX has good reasons to feel confident about this mission. They've already gained valuable experience from landing the Super Heavy booster during the previous 2 flights. Although there were some issues, particularly in Flight 4, SpaceX managed to land the booster successfully for the first time during that mission. Their ability to navigate and slow down the booster effectively will be crucial in this next attempt. Regarding the chopstick system, SpaceX has made significant upgrades and conducted tests with B114.1, ensuring the ground systems are ready to catch the returning booster. All of this is built on SpaceX's strong technological foundation. A decade ago, the idea of a rocket landing vertically or on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean seemed impossible, but SpaceX made it a reality and now does it regularly. While it's natural to feel concerned or skeptical about this bold challenge, I encourage you to support SpaceX as they continue to push the limits of space exploration. If they succeed, the next big goal will be landing both the booster and the ship together. That's when the second tower will take on its full importance. Together with the first tower, this new system will be able to catch the entire Starship, marking a historic moment where a rocket is fully landed and recovered. I've honestly never been more excited than I am now. The 2 towers and this upcoming flight are just the beginning of a new chapter for the Starship project. As more towers are built and more flights take off, we'll eventually see the return of the King Starship, the future ruler of the aerospace industry. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and subscribe for more updates as SpaceX redefines space exploration.